Hi, this is Alkin, and welcome back to my channel. Well, another victory for Trump and our least expected place, Massachusetts. Oh no, it's not against Elizabeth Warren, but the governor of the state is getting a taste of her home medicine. Apparently, Massachusetts has to fork back 2.1 billion and mistakenly use pandemic funds to cover unemployment benefits. Hey. I don't know how that happened. I'm not sure it happened during her administration or the other administration, but let's get into it. Anyway, so this is also from Fox News. It said Massachusetts must pay feds 2.1 billion after mistakenly using pandemic funds to cover unemployment benefits. It says it's incredibly frustrating that the prior administration allowed this to happen, Governor Maura Healey said by London Milone. Yes. So Massachusetts must pay the federal government 2.1 billion over the next 10 years to resolve a debt after the state under former governor, GOP governor Charles Barker administration mistakenly used federal pandemic funds to cover unemployment benefits. How the hell does this happen? So the current governor, Maura Healey, a Democrat, and her deputies released details on Monday of a settlement that reached with the outgoing Biden administration last week, in which the state will repay most of the money it owes because of the error. State House News Service reported. In 2023, Haley announced that her administration uncovered that the prior administration properly used about $2.5 billion in federal pandemic relief funds to cover unemployment benefits that should have been funded by the state. The total liability exceeded $3 billion, including fees and interest, according to Healey's office. Negotiations with the U.S. Department of Labor dropped the total amount to $2.1 billion over the next decade. We were dismayed to uncover early in our turn that the previous administration misspent billions of dollars in federal relief funds and that our state was faced with what could have been more than a $3 billion tab to pay it back, Haley said in a statement Monday. For the past year and a half, we had engaged in extensive negotiations with the U.S. Department of Labor to minimize the impact on Massachusetts residents, business, and our economy, she continued. Today, we have reduced our potential liability by over $1 billion and negotiate a decade-long payment window to mitigate the impact. The governor added that it's incredibly frustrating that the prior administration allowed this to happen, but that the current administration is going to use this as a moment to come together with the business and labor community to make meaningful reforms to the unemployment insurance system. Payments began on December 1st and continue each year for the next decade. This agreement states that the principal payment must come from the Unemployment Insurance UI Trust Fund, which is funded by tax on employers, is also used to cover benefits. According to the State House News Service, interest payments will come from the state general fund. Healey's office said business will not face higher rates on their unemployment insurance payments to at least the end of next year, at which the point rates will depend on the system reform. Wow, that is crazy. The governor vows to pursue changes to soften the burden on the employers who already face higher costs to support an uptick in claims during the pandemic, according to the State House News Service. Healey directed State Labor Secretary Lawrence Jones and Administrative and Finance Secretary Matthew Cornelius to conduct a comprehensive review of the sovereignty of the UI and assess potential reforms. The Haley administration projected the U.S. Trust Fund will be hundreds of millions of dollars in the debt by the end of 2028, even before taking into account the $2.1 billion in additional payments. And no, I don't see anything else. Well, I mean, it's a victory because now Trump doesn't have to go after her for this. And since they negotiated with the Biden administration, they could have paid $3 billion, but they reduced it to 2.1. Well, because they found it and they reported it. If they had waited to Trump got in office and found this, see, he doesn't have to do anything. It's over, it's done, and that's it. The government's going to get its money, federal government. The state doesn't have to pay that much. Hopefully, the rates doesn't go up. But the former governor of Massachusetts, I'm not a big fan of his. He's a little bit of a rhino there, and he got rid of the conductors on the subway trains on the rest of the MBTA, which is a disaster of its own. That's without the migrant crisis, or we call now illegal aliens. So, oh, yeah, I know there's some YouTuber that I know from Massachusetts is not going to be happy to hear this one. I guess an earthquake relate. I'm going to have to check what that is. Anyway, this is Alcan saying so long for now. Don't forget to stop.